Are you a pastor who has ever wondered if starting your own business or side hustle is right for you? Well, today I want to give you 7 reasons why I think every pastor should start their own business or side hustle right now. And actually, only 2 of them have anything to do with money. Hey, what's up? I'm Rich Avery, the host of the More Than a Pastor podcast and this channel. I'm so glad you've joined me today for this video where we're going to dive into 7 reasons why I think every pastor should start a business or side hustle today. I'd love to give you a gift to help you if you're wondering if starting a business is right for you. I've got a free guide. It is called How to Know If Starting a Business or a Side Hustle is Right for You. And in it, I go through the 12 signs that you might be an entrepreneur. And I describe the 3 most important things every pastor needs to have if they're going to be successful in launching a profitable business. You can get that for free at morethanapastor.com/biz. So here are the 7 reasons why I think every pastor should start a business or side hustle right now. Reason number 1 is that you've always dreamed of starting a business or side hustle. Man, if you've had a dream inside of your life for a long time and you've been wondering, should I start a business? I've got this idea I want to go with, and I'm just not sure. Is it okay to be a pastor and have a business? A lot of us as pastors struggle with that. I know I did myself. For a long time, I knew God had called me into ministry, but I also had these dreams of entrepreneurship, and I just didn't know what to do with those dreams. Was it okay to pursue those in business as a pastor, or did I have to put those dreams to the side and only focus on being in ministry, working full-time in the church? It took me a long time to figure out at some point that God had called me to be both an entrepreneur and a pastor, and maybe He's calling you to that as well. So if you've had a deep down dream inside of you, maybe there's a problem you've seen that you want to solve, or a passion that you care about that you want to do something about, or some business idea, maybe now is the time God wants you to use that and to take action on that. And so if you've had that long-standing dream, I'm saying to you, maybe it's time for you to start that business. Number 2, if you've had some untapped skills and passions. You know, as great as serving in ministry is, and as wonderful as it is to minister to people and to work in the church and to serve God in that way in full-time ministry, or maybe you're part-time, as wonderful as those things are, I've learned that no one job or position will tap into all of your skills and your talents and your passions. And so if you've had untapped potential, if you've got skills you haven't been able to use in ministry, sometimes pastors get a little frustrated about this, and they think, well, if I'm not able to use all my gifts and talents in this role, maybe it's time for me to leave and go to a different church. But friend, if that's you, I say to you, maybe it's not time to leave. Maybe it's time to start a business and to be able to channel your skills and passions that you're not tapping into now in a whole new way. And you're still able to stay in your church, to be engaged in the ministry with the community you love, but also to have a business that taps into those skills. And so if you've had untapped skills and potential, or skills and passions, now may be a great time for you to put those to work in your own business or side hustle. Number 3, if you've wanted to help more people and grow your impact. You know, having a business will open doors for you that you never would have been able to open on your own. Maybe to put you in front of a new audience or crowd that you wouldn't be able to get into otherwise. Having a business brings people to you that never would have come into the doors of your church. So it's a wonderful new way to open up new relationships and connections with people, and to grow your impact to reach people you never would have reached otherwise through your church. I'm reminded of the story about Dr. John Maxwell. You might know him as the leadership guru. He's written how many books on leadership? The 12 laws, the 17 laws, the 21 irrefutable laws of this or that. But he began as a pastor in a small church, I think in Ohio at first, and then eventually he came out to a larger church in San Diego, California, Skyline Wesleyan Church. But then at some point when he was at Skyline, he began doing leadership training with his staff. And just each week, he'd be teaching them some leadership lessons, helping them to grow their life, to grow their leadership. And over time, other pastors got wind of that and said, hey, could you send me those lessons? Could you record those on cassette tape? Now, if you're a millennial, you might not know what a cassette tape is, or if you're a Gen Z. I'm a Gen Xer. I grew up on cassette tapes. I just remember the 8 tracks. They were just kind of phasing out when I was a kid. And then cassette tapes for sure. So John Maxwell began to record his lessons on cassette tapes and then eventually CDs. And he began to sell them at some point and provide leadership lessons for pastors and other leaders all around the country and all around the world. And then he was writing books, and he was being invited to speak for corporations. And he was invited to speak by dignitaries from other countries. And God began to give him a bigger platform than he ever could have had as a pastor. And at some point, he wrestled with the decision, okay, do I stay here in my church or do I leave that church to continue to pursue this business vision, this calling God has given me? And so at some point, he took that step and left his church to be able to focus on the leadership full time. And a few years back, I don't know, maybe it's been 7 or 8 years ago now, our denomination, the Wesleyan Church, that's the denomination that John Maxwell was a part of, that I'm a part of, the denomination gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. And they recognized him for all of his work as a pastor in business, and recognized that God had helped him to lead thousands of people to Christ in a way that he never would have been able to through his own church. God gave him a larger platform and reach, even into countries where pastors and missionaries might not be able to go, but he was able to go as a leadership expert, but develop relationships with people there and share his faith with them and help lead many to the faith as well. So, if you want to help more people and grow your impact, maybe a business is one way that you can do that. So we've talked about if you've always dreamed of starting your own business one day. That was the first point. Number 2, if you've had untapped skills and passions you want to launch into. Number 3, if you want to help more people and grow your impact. Here's reason number 4 why I think every pastor should start a business. It'll boost your energy and your creativity for other areas of your life as well, including your ministry. Have you ever been in a rut? I mean, being in ministry, it can get kind of routine at times. Sundays come every 7 days, and so we're always in a routine of planning the next sermon or the next worship service. We're always in the routine of doing the classes and the workshops and things like that. And being in ministry, again, as wonderful as it is, we can get into a rut. It can feel like a routine at times. And I've heard from many pastors who have said, I'm bored. I wish I had more variety. I wish I had more control over my schedule or the way we do things, but I'm kind of locked in to how things are. And they wish things could be different. And again, in those situations, sometimes pastors think their only solution is to leave and go to a different church. But friend, I say to you, if that's your situation, start a business. Maybe it's a new way you will be able to tap into your creativity and create more energy as you're diving into something new. Maybe it's just 5 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours a week. But it's giving you new energy and creativity. You're solving new problems in different ways, and it helps every other area of your life. It helps you be a better spouse, a better parent, and it helps you in your ministry as well. So number 4, it'll boost your energy and creativity. Okay, reason 5 why I think every pastor should start a business or side hustle right now is that it gets you outside the walls of your church. We kind of touched on this before talking about Dr. John Maxwell, in that you have the opportunity to impact so many more people when you have your own business or side hustle. But I want to talk specifically about your own community. When you have your own business, it gets you outside the walls of your church, and you can become more aware of the needs in your community. You become more aware of what's happening, what some of the gaps are in your community, and it gets you in contact maybe with city officials or the Chamber of Commerce or other, maybe networking with other businesses. So it's a natural way for you to connect through business that maybe you would have as a pastor, but maybe there's a barrier as a pastor. If you show up to the Chamber of Commerce and you're Pastor so-and-so from First Baptist Church down the road, sometimes the walls come up with people when you say you're a pastor. But if you say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I own such and such business, well, then, hey, you're just a fellow business person. And yes, at some point later, you might say that you're the pastor, or they might say, hey, aren't you also the pastor of that church? And you have an opportunity to make a connection with them and talk about why you're starting a business. But it kind of puts you on a level playing field with other businesses or community leaders, because I think in our culture, being a pastor is becoming a liability in some places. Gen Z and millennials, I hate to say it, but many of them are allergic to church. They're allergic to institutions. They're allergic to pastors, and they want to stay away and keep their distance. So being able to get outside the walls of your community and have another banner under which you can do that as a business, I just think that provides an opportunity for you to get outside the walls of your church, connect with people, and again, build relationships that maybe wouldn't be possible as a pastor. So reason number 6 why I think you should start a business is that it provides you with an additional source of income that you can scale if you need to. So there comes a time in all of our lives when we need to create some extra income fast. Maybe there's a health bill that's coming up right now, or the kids need braces, or there's something like that. Right now, I've got a sore leg. I've got a torn meniscus, and I've got to have surgery here in the next few days or in about a week. And so that's going to cost about $4,000, I think. So there's a need right there to create that income. And so to have a business or a side hustle gives you that opportunity to create that income right away to help meet that need. But what if you've got a long-term need? Maybe you look at your budget with your spouse and you say, we need to create another $200 a month or $400 a month for some time to meet this gap in our budget. Starting a business or a side hustle gives you an opportunity to do that, to create that sustainable, or I should say that supplemental income for your family. But also, if you look at your budget and you say, man, we need some sustainable income, a business can provide that as well. Maybe you need another $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month. For me and my wife, she had always been a stay-at-home mom when our kids were younger, and she homeschooled our kids. So we were living on one income, and my income at the church, as wonderful as it was and generous as it was, they didn't pay me more because I had 5 kids versus the pastor that had 2 kids or no kids. So I didn't get paid more because we had more kids or because my wife stayed at home. So I looked for other ways. How can I create that income through businesses or side hustles to provide more sustainable income for our family? And so maybe that's a need that you have. The wonderful thing about having a business or a side hustle is that you can scale it as needed. You can put in more hours. You can hire more staff if you want to. You can grow your business and have it provide more for you in seasons when you need it to provide more for you. So that's reason number 6. It provides an additional source of income that can scale. Reason number 7 is that it is easier than ever to start a business or side hustle. And today there are some wonderful plug-and-play side gigs that anyone can do. And they're app-based, so you can use your phone. You can drive for Uber or Lyft. You can deliver food for Grubhub or Uber Eats. You can deliver groceries for Instacart or Shipt. You can use your home. You can rent out rooms through Airbnb or rent out your entire home on Vrbo. There are so many ways you can put your skills online. You can teach different skills and use like TaskRabbit or Fiverr or Upwork, places like that where you can sell your skills and your talents and earn money that way. So today it's easier than ever to launch a side hustle, a side gig that can provide extra income for you. But also if you want to start a full-fledged business, maybe you want to create a service business like in lawn care or janitorial services. Or what if you want to take the skills you've developed in ministry and put those to work in the marketplace, maybe as a coach or an author, or you want to take your sermons and put them into book form and sell devotionals. Maybe you want to become a speaker or have your own podcast. You can build your own influencer platform today easier and cheaper than ever before. And I've got lots of resources that can help you to do just that. And so if you've ever wanted to start your own business and you think maybe now is the time to do that, it's never been easier for you to just take that leap. And there's many low cost or even no cost ways to get started today. Well, reason number 8, and I know I said I was only going to provide 7, but I've got a bonus for you. Reason number 8, why I think every pastor should start a business or side hustle today, is that there's a financial tidal wave that is about to hit the church in America. Let me say it again. There's a financial tidal wave that's about to hit your church. Now, think about how challenging our financial lives have been in our churches during COVID. But let's go back before COVID, and let's just look at some generational trends, shall we? Look at the millennials, look at the Gen Z generations. They have an allergy to institutions in our world. They have an allergy to institutional church and to pastors and to traditional churches. I talk about this on my podcast, The More Than a Pastor Show, and I did a whole series on why I think the future of the church in America is going to be co-vocational pastors. And I go through several social and cultural trends, and it really plugs into why the millennials and Gen Zers are leaving the church, are not wanting anything to do with the traditional church. And I know there's exceptions, and you've probably got a few to share with me, but across the board, looking at surveys, looking at that generation, those two generations, in broad strokes, they are not interested in the institutional church. So it's going to be, I think, micro churches, fresh expressions, churches in homes, coffee shops, churches that don't look like churches to reach those people. And I think that's going to mean pastors that don't look like pastors. Pastors who are co-vocational, who lead a church or a gathering or a movement in a place that doesn't look like church, feel like church, smell like church, act like church, but is a church. And it's reaching people, it's building relationships, it's drawing people into a community, it's sharing Christ with them in a way that will reach them that wouldn't be reached through what we think of as a traditional church in America. So I think that's going to be the wave of the future. And so a financial tidal wave is going to be hitting traditional churches who have depended on tithes and offerings for the last 100, 150 years. That's been the model in America. So what's going to happen to your church when your giving decreases by 50%? When your attendance decreases by 50%? And it's not going to be too long before we're going to be seeing great decreases in attendance and in giving. And I know many of us are seeing it with COVID, and some of us think it's just going to be a phase that we're going to grow out of. But if you look at the generational trends, it's not going to be a phase. It's going to be a serious, significant change for churches that have depended on tithes and offerings, on pastors who have depended on being full-time all of their careers. That's going to change, I think. And so starting a business or side hustle right now will help you to future-proof your church. Your income will allow you to be able to serve God and provide for your family no matter what. So you might be saying, well, Rich, I'm just not sure if starting a business is right for me. Yeah, I understand all the reasons why you think I should be concerned about that, but I'm just not sure if it's right for me. Well, I've got a free guide that will help you to discern if you've got what it takes to start a business. I've discovered 12 traits or 12 signs that point to success in business, and I've put those together in a free PDF. It's called How to Know If Starting a Business is Right for You. You can get it at morethanapastor.com/biz. That's B-I-Z. And in it, I share those 12 signs or traits, and you can assess yourself and see, okay, do I have these traits, or how do they play out in my life and in my ministry? And I'll give you a hint. If you're a pastor, you've already got many of these traits, because many of the signs of success in business are signs of success in ministry as well. But I'd love for you to get that and look at your life in that way. But also, as a bonus, I've included the 3 most important things pastors need to know and have in order to launch and grow a profitable, successful business. A lot of times we launch out with a great idea, but is a great idea enough? Sometimes we launch out, thinking we want to serve people in a certain way, but is that really enough? And I think there are three most important things we need to have to be successful in our business and to make a profit in our business, because that is the goal, is to create more income. We want to serve more people, but it's got to be profitable so that we can give more, we can provide more for our family, meet our needs. And so being profitable is an important aspect of business. And so get that free guide, How to Know If Starting a Business is Right for You, at morethanapastor.com/biz. Well, I'd love to know if you enjoyed the show today. And so please send me your comments. Put comments down below. Let me know what you think about the show. And also, do you have any other topics that you'd like to see me cover here on More Than a Pastor? Let me know that as well. And again, please check out my website for more information. I've got a lot of free resources there that can be of help for you. And it would be great if you could subscribe to the show if you haven't done that yet, or share it with others and let others know about this resource. Press the like button if you've liked it. It just helps us to be able to build some traction and get our videos out there for more pastors to be able to get the help they need to be able to launch and grow their own profitable business. And again, before we go, I want to remind you that you are more than a pastor. Saying yes to God's call to ministry does not mean you have to say yes to feeling stuck or broke or frustrated in life and ministry. Let's work together to help you create the life, impact, and income that you were made for.